The trailer for Dexter, Resurrection Episode 9, doesn't just tease the next chapter, it shakes the ground beneath Dexter's double life. Every shot, every pause, and every word feels like a warning that the end is coming, not just for Dexter, Morgan, but for everyone caught in his bloody circle. What if Episode 9 is the moment when the hunter finally becomes the hunted? The Episode 9 trailer opens with silence, a silence that feels heavier than any monologue Dexter has ever given us. We see him standing in the shadows, not as the confident predator of past seasons, but as a man who knows his time is running out. His face is not calm. It's tense, broken, and almost pleading. This is the first clue that the coming episode is not just about Dexter continuing his cycle, it's about him losing control. The camera lingers on his hands, trembling slightly. For a character like Dexter, whose rituals have always been precise, the smallest shake is a sign of collapse. In the past, those hands held knives with steady conviction, ready to deliver his justice. Now they betray his fear. This detail alone suggests that Episode 9 will test Dexter's control over his dark passenger more than ever before. The trailer cuts quickly to flashes of chaos, red and blue lights in the distance, the faint sound of police radios, and Angela's determined face. She is no longer the curious investigator searching for small inconsistencies. Now she looks like someone who has found her answer. Her eyes are filled with both anger and betrayal, and that short frame could mean the walls around Dexter are finally crumbling. This is not just another cat-and-mouse chase. This feels like the net is closing in. Then comes a brief but powerful shot of Harrison. He stands in the middle of a road, half in light, half in darkness, a perfectly staged metaphor. The trailer doesn't give us words here, only a moment of stillness, but the image says everything. Harrison is torn between the father who saved him and the truth of the monster he might become. It's no coincidence the trailer places him in this limbo. Episode 9 could be the turning point where Harrison decides whether to follow Dexter's path or run from it forever. The pacing of the trailer is sharp, almost suffocating. Quick cuts show Dexter running through woods, a blood-stained shirt being shoved into a bag, and the faint echo of someone screaming in the distance. None of these clips last more than a second, yet together they form a wave of dread. This is the signature style of Dexter trailers. They don't give you answers, they give you questions that crawl into your mind. Who is screaming? Is it a victim? Or is it someone closer to Dexter's heart? Another crucial moment is the focus on a cabin door being slammed shut. We don't see who is inside, but the sound of the lock echoes like a warning. In Dexter's world, doors and confinement always symbolize control, his victims strapped to tables, his secrets hidden behind closed spaces. But here the locked door feels reversed, as if Dexter himself is being trapped. It is a visual reversal of power, hinting that the hunter may soon be caged. The trailer also plays with sound in haunting ways. For most of it, we only hear ambient noises, wind, footsteps, the faint rustle of trees. Then suddenly a sharp line of dialogue cuts through. You can't run forever. We don't see who says it, but the voice carries authority and fury. Is it Angela confronting Dexter with the truth? Or is it Harrison finally facing his father's lies? The trailer deliberately blurs the answer, keeping us in suspense. What makes this opening breakdown so chilling is how little it shows while revealing so much. Every image is loaded with meaning. Dexter's shaking hands, Harrison's conflicted stance, Angela's piercing glare. Together, they paint a picture of Episode 9 as the storm before the storm. This is not just another setup, is the breaking point, the collision of truth, blood, and betrayal. If earlier episodes felt like Dexter playing his dangerous game, the Episode 9 trailer tells us the game is almost over. And the question that lingers is not, will Dexter win? But how much will he lose before the end? Asterisk, every great Dexter episode has lived not only in the sharpness of its killings, but also in the layers of meaning hidden beneath the surface. The Episode 9 trailer is drenched in symbolism, and if we read between the frames, it begins to tell a story far larger than Dexter himself. It isn't just a preview, it's a mirror reflecting themes of guilt, legacy, and the inescapable pull of darkness. The first theme that rises from the trailer is inevitability. From the very start, there is a weight pressing down on every image. The trembling of Dexter's hands, the cold stare of Angela, and Harrison caught in half-shadow all suggest that the mask Dexter has worn for years is finally cracking. He once believed his dark passenger could be controlled, hidden, even tamed, but the trailer tells us that the truth has a way of clawing to the surface. The inevitability here isn't just about being caught, it's about destiny. Dexter has always walked a razor-thin line between justice and monstrosity, and Episode 9 seems to say that this line is vanishing beneath him. Another key theme is family as both salvation and damnation. The trailer doesn't rely on words to communicate. It uses images. Harrison standing between light and shadow is more than a visual, it is a representation of choice. Dexter's love for his son is perhaps the only pure thing he has ever allowed himself to feel, yet it is also the greatest danger. The symbolism of Harrison bathed in divided light is clear. He embodies Dexter's legacy. Will he become a continuation of the monster, or will he break the chain? Episode 9 seems to dangle this decision, like a guillotine over both their heads. The hunter becoming the hunted is another theme woven deeply into the imagery. Shots of flashing police sirens and locked doors are not just cinematic tricks, they are metaphors for reversal. For so long, Dexter has been the spider, weaving his web in silence. But the Episode 9 trailer paints him as the fly, caught in threads too tangled to escape. When Angela's face flashes across the screen, the power balance becomes unmistakable. She is no longer a bystander. She is the force of truth, the embodiment of all the consequences Dexter thought he could outrun. The symbolism here is direct. The predator has become prey. Blood, of course, is everywhere, not always shown directly, but always implied. A blood-stained shirt being shoved into a bag, the crimson undertones in the lighting, even the silence. Broken by a scream, all echo the theme of guilt made visible. In Dexter's world, blood has never just been evidence, it has been language. He read it like scripture on his slides, trophies of his hidden church. But now the blood in the trailer does not feel like victory, it feels like exposure. Episode 9 may be the moment. When blood finally stops protecting him and begins condemning him, there is also the theme of truth versus denial. The dialogue line, "You can't run forever," echoes through the trailer like a haunting refrain. It is less about physical escape and more about emotional reckoning. For decades, Dexter has denied his humanity, convincing himself that he is nothing but his dark passenger. Yet every time Harrison appears on screen, that denial wavers. Family ties force him to admit he is more than a monster. But admitting that also means facing the full horror of what he has done. This duality, the desperate wish to be human versus the urge to hide in denial, sits at the heart of Episode 9's trailer. Even the landscapes carry symbolism. The woods, shown repeatedly as Dexter runs, are not just scenery. They represent liminality, the space between civilization and chaos. Dexter has always thrived in these in-between places, working as a forensic analyst by day, hunting in the dark by night. But here, the woods feel less like freedom and more like a maze closing in on him. Trees rise like bars of a prison, twisting, and endless, as though the very environment is conspiring to trap him. Finally, the most chilling theme is legacy. The trailer is obsessed with it, whether through Harrison's conflicted stance, Angela's determination to protect truth, or Dexter's trembling acknowledgement of his limits. Legacy asks the ultimate question: what remains after you? For Dexter, will his legacy be his kills, his lies, his blood-soaked rituals? Or will it be the influence he leaves on Harrison? This theme casts a long shadow over every frame. Episode 9 doesn't just look like a continuation, it feels like a reckoning with everything Dexter has ever left behind. In the end, the trailer's symbolism suggests that Episode 9 will be about exposure, not just to others, but to the self. Dexter may face Angela's evidence, Harrison's judgment, and his own guilt in ways he can no longer manipulate or escape. Themes of inevitability, family, reversal, guilt, denial, environment, and legacy all swirl together, telling us that Episode 9 is not a story about Dexter killing again. It is a story about whether Dexter can survive himself, Asterisk, if the episode 9 trailer feels like a storm about to break, then its characters are the thunder and lightning hidden within the clouds. Every face we see, every flicker of emotion carries weight, because at this stage of the story, nothing is casual. Every character now represents a choice, a consequence, or a final reckoning. The trailer doesn't just tease events. It puts these characters under a microscope, showing us exactly where their fates might fracture. Dexter Morgan, the shattered predator. The heart of the trailer is Dexter himself, but not the Dexter we first met years ago. Gone is the quiet confidence of a predator who knew his rules, his code, and his purpose. Instead, we see a man worn down, haunted, and dangerously exposed. His shaking hands, his darting eyes, his rare moments of visible panic, they're not random details. They're symbols of collapse. For so long, Dexter believed he could balance both sides of his life, blood-spattered nights and fatherly mornings. But episode 9's trailer strips that illusion bare. Dexter isn't just hunted by law enforcement, he's hunted by truth. His every glance at Harrison is tinged with guilt. His silence around Angela feels heavier than words. If past seasons gave us a Dexter in control of the board, episode 9 suggests he's a king cornered on all sides, forced to make desperate moves with no guarantee of survival. The predator's fangs are still there, but they're dulled by fear. Harrison. The mirror and the choice. The trailer's most striking image of Harrison is him standing half in shadow, half in light. That isn't coincidence, it's storytelling through visuals. Harrison represents both hope and doom, both the legacy of Dexter's darkness and the possibility of breaking free. His presence in the trailer feels less like a side character, and more like the fulcrum on which the entire story balances. The tension in Harrison's eyes speaks volumes. He's torn between admiration and disgust, loyalty and fear. The trailer refuses to answer the question we all want to know. Does he side with his father, or does he reject him? Instead, it lingers on his uncertainty, amplifying the suspense. But make no mistake, episode 9 is setting Harrison up for a defining choice. Whether he confronts Dexter with anger, embraces his legacy, or takes a path entirely his own, his decision will echo louder than any body Dexter has ever hidden. What makes Harrison so powerful in this trailer is that he is not just Dexter's son, he is Dexter's reflection. Every doubt Harrison feels, Dexter feels too. Every possibility of Harrison's future forces Dexter to reckon with his past. The trailer positions Harrison not as an accessory, but as the judgment Dexter cannot escape. Angela Bishop, the relentless pursuer of Harrison, is the emotional core of the trailer. Angela is its blade. Her brief appearances carry an intensity sharper than any scalpel. In earlier episodes, she was the investigator who suspected but did not know. Now her eyes tell a different story. They are no longer searching, they are accusing. The shot of her framed against flashing police lights is perhaps the most important clue in the trailer. It shows Angela not as a minor obstacle, but as the embodiment of truth closing in. She is not a character Dexter can manipulate with charm or evade with lies. She represents justice, consequence, and exposure. In every Dexter story there has always been someone circling closer to the truth. Dokes, Legata, Deb, but Angela feels different. She isn't just chasing a killer. She's protecting her community, her daughter, and perhaps even Harrison. That personal stake makes her pursuit ruthless. Angela's presence in the trailer signals that episode 9 will not be about Dexter outsmarting another detective. It will be about him facing someone who refuses to be blinded by his facade. The hunter's mask no longer works on her. The tension between them isn't just professional. It's moral, human, and devastatingly personal. The shadows beyond. While the trailer focuses mainly on Dexter, Harrison, and Angela, the fleeting images of secondary characters matter too. The scream in the background, the slammed cabin door, the flash of police radios, all of these hint at lives about to be torn apart. Every secondary character becomes a potential casualty, not of Dexter's dark passenger, but of the truth-breaking free. These glimpses remind us of one of Dexter's most enduring themes, the collateral damage of secrets. Dexter's life has never destroyed only him, it's consumed everyone around him. From Rita to Deborah, the cycle has always repeated. Episode 9 looks poised to continue that pattern as the trailer teases the possibility that others will suffer. Once again, because of Dexter's lies in focusing on the characters, the trailer reveals more than just their arcs, it reveals the heart of the conflict. Dexter, the predator crumbling. Harrison, the mirror forced to choose. Angela, the relentless truth seeker. And the unnamed voices in the dark, representing the world closing in. Together they form a web of tension so tight that Episode 9 cannot simply be another step in the story. It has to be the moment where characters either break free of their fates or become fully consumed by them. The brilliance of a Dexter trailer has always been its ability to hide entire storylines inside the smallest flickers of imagery. Episode 9's preview follows that same tradition, leaving behind a breadcrumb trail of secrets that only the careful viewer can spot. At first glance, it looks like a storm of fast cuts and tense faces. But when slowed down, frame by frame, the trailer whispers hints about what lies ahead. These are not accidents, they are deliberate signals, meant for us to decode. The blood-stained shirt, one of the sharpest visual clues, comes in a blink dash and dash U, single quote, LL dash miss dash it moment. A shirt, stained, with blood being shoved into a bag. The quickness of the shot almost dares you not to notice, but its meaning is massive. For Dexter, clothing has always been more than fabric, its evidence both literal and symbolic. The shirt in the bag suggests panic, a mistake, a cleanup, rushed instead of methodical. This detail contrasts starkly with Dexter's earlier, precise habits of disposal. It signals sloppiness, born not from carelessness, but from desperation, even deeper. The bag itself recalls earlier seasons when Dexter would wrap his victims in plastic and prepare their final journey. Here, though, the bag doesn't represent control, it represents failure. Evidence is no longer neatly tucked away. It's a loose thread, waiting for Angela to pull. The cabin door, another detail that begs for attention, is the slamming cabin door. Its sound lingers, echoing longer than the image itself. This moment carries layers of meaning. Cabins have always symbolized secrecy in Dexter's world, hidden places where he could become his truest self without fear of being seen. But the trailer reframes the cabin not as sanctuary but as prison. The slammed door suggests someone is being trapped, not protected. The mystery lies in who is inside. Is it Dexter hiding from the police? Is it Harrison, symbolically locked in to a legacy he doesn't want? Or is it a victim tied to the table in the way Dexter has always done? The trailer refuses to answer, but the door's violent closure makes one thing clear: confinement and confrontation are coming. The echo of a scream in the middle of the chaotic montage. There's a sound that chills more than any image, a scream, raw and distant. It lasts only a second, but it speaks volumes. Dexter trailers rarely include such visceral noise unless it carries significance. This could be the scream of a new victim, yes, but its emotional weight suggests something closer to home. If the scream belongs to Harrison, it could symbolize the moment he finally sees his father's truth, not in whispers, not in half-admissions, but in full, horrifying clarity. If it belongs to Angela, it could signal a confrontation that turns violent. The power of the scream is that it leaves us with no answers, only the heavy suspicion that Episode 9 will force someone Dexter loves into unbearable pain. Harrison's positioning, the trailer also hides meaning in Harrison's physical placement. He is shown in liminal spaces, doorways, roads, thresholds. None of this is coincidence. These spaces are symbolic of choice, of transition. Harrison is not fixed in either light or dark. He is always between them. The road shot in particular, with its horizon stretching endlessly behind him, paints Harrison as someone standing at the crossroads of destiny. Will he walk toward his father's darkness or away from it? That open road is less geography than metaphor. It's the map of his fate. Angela's short scenes also contain Easter eggs of their own. In one frame, her eyes flick briefly to what appears to be a file. If you freeze the trailer, you'll notice hints of case documents, evidence photographs, maybe even bloodslide references, a chilling callback to Dexter's old trophies. Whether or not the file literally contains Dexter's secrets, the imagery is powerful. Angela isn't just looking at paper, she's looking at the truth. Her gaze, piercing and unforgiving, mirrors the role of past characters who nearly exposed. Dexter, Dokes had suspicion, Lagerda had evidence. Deb had love, Angela, though, has all three threads entwined. This layered gaze in the trailer reminds us that her pursuit isn't just professional, it's personal, maternal, moral. She has something those before her did not, a connection to Harrison, making her confrontation with Dexter not just about justice, but about saving a child she refuses to let drown in lies. Callbacks and shadows finally. The trailer sprinkles in subtler nods to Dexter's legacy. The woods shots mirror the series' iconic opening credits, where nature seemed calm yet dangerous. The sight of blood once again dripping, though faint and out of focus, recalls the ritualistic imagery of earlier seasons. Even the voice saying, "You can't run forever," echoes the eternal theme that has haunted Dexter since Season 1, the inevitability of discovery. These callbacks aren't nostalgia for its own sake. They're reminders that every choice, every lie, every kill has been leading here. The Easter eggs are like ghosts, returning to claim their due in the end. The hidden details of the Episode 9 trailer tell a story louder than the official footage. The blood-stained shirt whispers failure. The cabin door slams shut on freedom. The scream echoes the cost of truth. Harrison's positioning marks him as Destiny's pawn. Angela's gaze pierces through facades.